The first thing you notice when you bite into one is the skin.
That soft, delicate texture, it's got to be a little bit chewy.
Not too thin, not too thick, with the right ratio of filling to skin.
Yeah, I think that's what good Ang Ku Kueh is all about.
For me, at least, when I think of Ang Ku Kueh sellers, I think of Ji Xiang.
If you do a Google search for best Ang Ku Kuehs, chances are Ji Xiang will be number 1, number 2, number 3. The shop has been around for a good 35 years, and it still draws very long queues throughout the day. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago where Ji Xiang seems to have expanded to quite a few locations. Recently, I did a review of the Ji Xiang outlet in Bugis. It was a month or so after when I came across an article saying that Ji Xiang put out an advertisement to say the Everton one is the original and all the other Ji Xiangs are a separate entity. And Ang Ku Kueh has two main parts, of course, the skin and the filling.
The ingredients are, for the skin, water, oil, glutinous rice flour, sometimes sweet potato, some sugar, and maybe food coloring.
The two most traditional fillings are ground peanuts and mung bean paste.
It's actually quite a complicated and technical kueh kueh to make. If you don't make the skin properly, it can be a bit too hard.
So one of the clear qualities that makes a Ji Xiang Ang Ku Kueh different is its ability to retain its softness even if you leave it overnight. And this is not going to be the case with mass-produced Ang Ku Kueh. Ji Xiang is one of the few places that still mold their Ang Ku Kuehs by hand.
Every morning we'll prepare the Ang Ku Kueh freshly at around 6:30. We will cook the rice flour and mix the color, water, and oil. This one need to be very precise. We will cook the filling a day before. Right now, we got 9 flavors. We got peanut, sweet bean, salted, sweet corn, coconut, yam, sesame, durian, and champignat. I'll show you the room that the magic happened. After we make the dough, we will portion the dough to the ice cube to the individual size. The idea comes from my dad. The ice cube mold is equivalent to the filling, almost the same size. We are going to wrap the filling, put inside the mold. Normally for weekdays, we make about 3,000 to 4,000. Ang Ku Kueh for festival, maybe 5 to 6. This is our steaming department. So after 4 minutes, we need to switch it over from top to bottom to cook it evenly. After 8 minutes, it's totally cooked. We have been making the Ang Ku Kueh 30 over years for the same way. This is my mom, the founder of Ji Xiang Everton. She created the recipe, now she's aged already, then she feel camera shy during the interview. My mother was very interested in cooking, so she learned the Ang Ku Kueh recipe from community center. She tuned until the recipe that I've been using until now. My parents started the business, I think, since 1987, when my dad got retrenched from the shipyard. So to help out the expenses, my mom started doing Ang Ku Kueh at home, sent to my grandma provision shop. The response was good, and my dad said, why don't we open a small shop? So we started this shop since 1988. After NS, I joined the company. My brother joined the company 6 years back.
I'm Calvin To. I'm the second son of Ji Xiang Ang Ku Kueh.
So why did you decide to take out an advertisement against your brother's shop?
Okay.
Ji Ji Xiang. Everton says there's no other outlets in Singapore. The reporter called me to have a phone interview about how I felt about the advertisement. It tells the customer that Everton is having a promotion and you can only redeem it over at Everton because there's only one shop, Ji Xiang, in Singapore. Quite disappointed to see this kind of advertisement being done. I've been actively helping out at Everton since young. I also helped with the R&D of the yam flavor when I was in school. That's how the yam flavor started. I always had an interest in culinary. My parents are always busy with Uncle Kueh. So in primary school, most of the time we were left at home alone. And in the afternoon, there was not much to watch on TV. So I recall watching a lot of Yan Can Cook and Fang Tai. I did finish my diploma in pastry and baking from Shatec. So after a decade in F&B from corporate, I wanted to bring my experience to Ji Xiang. Back then, we only take order through the phone or you have to come down in person to the shop. It took me a few months before I convinced my dad that we should set up a website, social media, and an online platform for orderings. I wanted to bring in things like rostering, marketing, and make the whole operation more efficient. They've been doing the same thing for probably 2 to 3 decades. Yeah, so I faced a lot of resistance. I was helping out at the shop for a good 4 to 5 years before I ventured out to Bugis and set up shop myself.
My parents is quite supportive with Calvin when he say he is going to open a new shop with the using of 2 words of Ji Xiang. My brother is only allowed to use Ji Xiang, but not Ji Xiang Confectionery.
I wanted to see what I can bring this brand to, and doing it under the wings of my parents and my brother, I find it very hard for me to execute any changes.
I also hope that he can do it, so we are not against it. But the confusion between the public is that how come the pricing and the quality was so much different? There's good review and bad review, but the customer posted on the different online platform. Sometimes to ours, sometimes to theirs. So we need to clarify to retain our reputation. That is the purpose of the advertising. We are 2 individual companies. We are not linked.
This is our Bugis outlet. With the blessing of my parents, we set up shop here 3 years ago. And this is where we make our Uncle Kueh. Over here, we're still using the same recipe my mom taught me. We've been doing this pastry every day, fresh in the morning. So we're just cooking up the dough right now. It's much easier with this machine as it mixes and cooks at the same time. So not as tedious. Most of our cooking is done with this rotary cooker. It saves us a lot of strength. So in Everton, they use an older version of this. It's a stirrer. So the molding process is pretty straightforward. And we do it the same way with Everton. So we have around 10 to 15 people doing this molding process, which is the more tedious part of the pastry making. Automation of the molding process will definitely help cut down bulk of our labor costs. But we choose not to because we want to make sure that the quality of the kueh remains the same. So that's why we still insist on making it by hand. My mom actually did help out a lot when we were setting up shop. So back then, I have to train out all my new employees, and my mom was constantly helping out with the training and the quality control and giving advice on how to run things.
When it started after 1 year, I did try. It's Uncle Kueh. I think still okay. Still okay. By quality control, you need to stay focused and maintain it throughout.
On the quality basis, The way we do things has been the same for the past 30 years, and I'm ensuring that we keep it that way. The main difference I feel between me and Everton is the way we run things. Doing it a bit with a modern twist, and Jack's keeping the business as it is, the traditional way. Our online sales is around 30% of our total revenue.
Right now, the customer can order through the WhatsApp and through online. Because for late collection, we need the full payment, so we will suggest the customer to order online. With payment settled, it's only a fraction of our business only. It's not taking a very big part.
So our first few products, when we want to get some social media traction, we actually did the rainbow Kueh. The Kueh got a lot of social media attention. So we figured, changing up the colors, changing the fillings, does have its marketing value. Currently, I have around 10 flavors, and we are always taking out and adding on more. Throughout the past few years, we added on flavors like pistachio, almond with black sesame. We've done crazy things like spicy shrimp and our customization. We've done unicorn Kuehs. We even come up with new fillings for events like food festivals. My dad would never customize.
The core of Everton is to retaining traditional, so there won't be any fusion Kueh over here. Due to the fancy shape and fancy color, you may attract more younger customer. That's a good thing. But the thing is, Pao Pao Cha, when it's booming, you can see one street got 8. But right now, so I feel that traditional is still the best. We try to give the public the lowest price that we can give. At Everton, we are selling at 120. I think they are selling 160.
We operate over here at Bugis, and we set up points island-wide so that the customer got more ease on collecting the Kueh.
Because of rental, we do have a higher pricing for our product. I offer more convenience, but convenience does come with a price. I would say our customer base is quite different. For Everton, because they've been there for 30 years, they tend to have more large orders, elderlies. And for my side, I have a lot of new customers that buy in small amount, and they tend to be young adults since I'm in Bugis. I don't think Ji Xiang Everton as a competitor. Like for a few cases where I cannot produce enough, I also give the vendors to Everton. So I feel it's end of the day, it's still my family business. No harm helping out each other. I got a house of my own, but I still choose to stay with my parents to look after them. I send them to work every day. So I do see my parents on a daily basis.
So when's the last time you actually spoke to Jack?
3 years ago. 3 years. Because there was a lot of conflict when I started out myself. So I haven't actually spoken to him for the past 3 years.
I spend most of the time with the parents at the shop. Mommy, you want lunch or not? Maybe during weekend we have dinner outside. And mommy tan never go open joy delivery le. Qua ehua, then behu de la kagitan. All right, okay. Okay.
So normally after work, I'll just come home and have dinner with my parents and my kids.
唔要啊，
想不一样？
真好。
你真係嘅，真係簡單啊！啊，唔是差咩？
They try to avoid the advertisement topic, and they wouldn't be able to solve the problem. So no need to bother them. They also try not to interfere. They have been very supportive, and whatever I do let them know. Whenever we have new flavors, they do get to try it. Yeah, so whatever product, they still have a say.
In the end, when it comes to the customers, right? They can figure out, which is the better one. I would say this is the Everton one, and this one is the Bugis one.
Okay, grab a seat, everyone. Thank you for coming. So today you're here to learn about Kueh.
So we were quite surprised that after good 3 decades of operation, there is still a lot of people who have never heard of Ji Xiang or even tried Kueh. Singaporeans like food, and especially food with a story behind Kueh. It's tied to actually a lot of festivals, a lot of customs. You have to advocate these customs and traditions to the younger generation to bring in new customer base for our business.
So you got normal Kueh, you got slightly bigger Kueh, you got very big Kueh. So the medium one normally we use for elderly birthday. The very big one we use for baby first year birthday. It's called kataku. So when your baby turns 1 year old, you get the baby to step on it. It symbolizes the baby having a very good start in life.
I done it with my 2 kids. It's a very meaningful custom. I cried both times I did it. For the first few decades of our business, the sales of kataku is non-existent. So after my kid was on TV, was on the newspaper doing this custom, people started doing it. So every year now we make like thousands of pair of kataku.
I feel like Ji Xiang revived a tradition. So that's why I do this class. I hope you all learn more about the customs, the use of Kueh. Turn your wrist back to left.
So through all this education, I taught you that this custom needs this Kueh. Definitely you will think of me when you're going to do that custom. So education actually brings sales and revenue back. That has always been my direction since I started shop here in Bugis.
So I noticed that Kueh has gained a bit of popularity in the last few years. A lot of it can be attributed to businesses like Ji Xiang.
I think what Kelvin is doing is important for Kueh, especially for this family brand, looking at trying to make it relevant for a new generation of customers, but also trying to find innovation in heritage food, which is a very, very big challenge, and it's a fine line to tread.
So the question is, if both places are using the same original recipes, does that make one more authentic or less authentic than the other?
Authenticity to the business is really just comes down to a matter of pride, right? You have taken lots of effort to get to this point where you are a household name. So maybe that's something you work to preserve.
For customers, at the end of the day, taste still triumphs how original or how authentic it is.
So what we have right here is the traditional mung bean flavor of Kueh from both Ji Xiangs. But I won't tell you which is which. So could you taste both and tell me what you think?
So to me, at one glance, right, you can see that the color is bright.
The colors are just very slightly different. Like this one's like a deeper red, and this one's slightly lighter.
They look almost exactly the same. One is just slightly larger than the other.
So this is the first one I'm eating. It's like the slightly smaller one. So I was checking for the pull, the mouthfeel, the chewiness. Really good. The bean is really smooth, but it's not so smooth that it feels like powder or paste. So I'm gonna try the other one now. This one, the skin is just a touch softer, a little bit more tender.
The skin is pretty much the same. The skin is smooth, very chewy.
At first touch, this second one seems to be slightly firmer. The paste is not grounded as fine. This one is actually a bit sweeter. I'm actually surprised at how different the two are. I would say this is the Everton one, and this one is the Bugis one. I'm wrong. Oh dear.
If I wasn't eating them side by side, I wouldn't be able to tell you if someone gave me one or the other, honestly.
I think there is some difference. Also, because I ate Ji Xiang so much, I can tell that this is the Everton Park one. Right? The Everton Park one is a little bit more elegant. Kevin's is definitely more contemporary. It's got that more soft mouthfeel in the skin. It's like slightly thicker. They're both equally delicious, and I really think that if I was craving for an ang ku kueh, right, both will completely hit the spot.
So as with all recipes, you can use the same recipe, but as soon as someone else is making that recipe, it's going to be different.
I'm very particular on our quality control. So to keep the business running, I need to very strict on that. Presently, we do a lot of shopping malls. So Ji Xiang Everton's company logo is a tortoise with a push cart. So when you get the bad quality, you bought from the two wording, don't call here. You should call their hotline. We need to clarify that. Or else, in long term, it will affect our business.
I personally feel that there's no difference. There's only one recipe, and there's only so many ways you can do ang ku kueh.
The name Ji Xiang comes with a lot of expectation because it is a heritage brand. I do think both Jack and Kelvin are carrying on their parents' legacies in their own ways.
I think for consumers, right, we look out for the Ji Xiang name, and knowing that there are two variants of it, but both brothers using their mother's recipe and doing their level best to promote their family's ang ku kueh, really that's enough.
If there's a rivalry, means there's something worth fighting for.
So that I think it's quite positive.
Do you feel like you are making your parents proud?
I hope they think so. It's a bit headache when the sibling get to this sour side. Because parents should like 家和万事兴.
Definitely, I'm making them proud, making this brand more noticeable in Singapore.
Is she ever gonna take over one day?
Are you gonna take over one day? You sure? You like make ang ku kueh? You like to eat ang ku kueh? Nice.